Down towards that way. After a few hours, when they reached, what they see, the local people, the tribal men, they were there assembled with their traditional weapons, javelin and arrows and all the things, ready to resist. They thought that they are invaders. Columbus was experienced traveler. He anticipated things, so he brought along with him many gift items in form of trinkets, some shiny objects, whistles, and so on. And he freely distributed it to them. Fast forward, the friendship was struck. But Columbus instructed his crew members, his fellow sailors, not to behave in a way that should set off any alarm in the minds of these people. Be friendly and be good. These people, native, ultimately they became good hosts, provided them with foods and shelters and other provisions in exchange of gifts, of course, and they welcomed them into their community with open arms. But this arrangement could not last very long. As Columbus and his team were waiting for rescue to arrive, and as days turn into weeks and the week drags into months, 1 month, 2 months, 3 months, 4 months, there was a increasing discontent. These people were increasingly, the native became discontent for the fact that some of the crew members indulged in stealing, cheating, invading their villages for more supplies than what they were getting, and then some other indiscretions also. Fed up with all these things, one fine morning in January 1504, they decided to push these people back to their worn-out ship, wherever it was there, near the sea. And they made sure that they do not come back again on the island. They pushed them, and they also stopped the food supplies regardless of whatever they might offer, Columbus, they might offer in trade. Now this was a serious situation. Now without enough food or mean to leave the island and continue, his expedition was in serious trouble. But Columbus was a little bit creative, and he believed in, as what Toastmaster said, when you find obstacles, you find opportunity. When there is a problem, there is a potential. Columbus found a way. He had a certain astronomical table in order to determine the sky position for the navigation purpose, and in that astronomical table, there was a mention of a lunar eclipse happening soon. To be precise, it was to happen on February 29th, 1504. And this data was compiled by German astronomer Muller, who has very fairly predicted, or accurately predicted, what time and up to what duration. It was enough for Columbus. His men was dying out of starvation, and he really wanted to do something. So, armed with this knowledge, he called the meeting with the chief and other native people in the island, and said that, look, you have seized our supply. My men are dying, and my God is not happy with you. He is angry, and as a token of his anger, he is going to take away the moon from your island. Moon? They did not react. They did not respond. They thought that it's a... But this is what he wanted, that they should not believe at the outset. And then, because he made out that story just before the moon eclipse were to happen, and soon when it happened, they were frightened. Actually, all this, the native people, they got frightened. Oh, he was saying yes, and there will be a wrath of God upon us, and he will punish us for our deeds. And if we go by the words of Ferdinand, who was Columbus's son, and he was a part of voyage, and he wrote his biography later on, with a great howling and lamentation, they come running from every direction to the ship, laden with provisions, They were so frightened. They came and they asked, requested Columbus to please ask your God to forgive us and give back our moon. Columbus was waiting for those moments only. He said, okay, yes, he will take their case before the God. And he went into his cabin, in the ship, makeshift cabin. And what he did in there was to watch hourglass, because he knew that the moon will be totally under the Earth's shadow for about 48 minutes. So he waited for appropriate time for moon to appear. And just before that took place, he came back out and he said, okay, he has requested God to forgive you, and he has acquiesced, conquered. And there was a time when moon started re-emerging. Now seeing this celestial spectacle, seeing this demonstration of supernatural power of Columbus, their behavior deeply changed, or it influenced their behavior very deeply in the way that they made sure that enough supplies is given to Columbus and his men. So life became easier for Columbus for the time he was there. And in June 29, 1504, about 1 year after he arrived in that island, a rescue ship ultimately arrived and took them back to Europe in Spain, and they reached there on November 7th, 1504, the same year. And that was the last voyage of Columbus. Over to you.